if you're allowed to democratize any technology, especially AI, you should also be able to democratize your ability to make revenue. So upscaling is my connection is upscaling is so important because it's all about moving forward and getting better.
Yeah, exactly. And you're speaking my language there as a teacher and a trainer. Is exactly that. We always get asked things of what do we need to know? What do we need to do? What's the importance in all of that? And we've hit on a lot of that, evolving and, like you said, the seamstress that we're just using a needle and thread and then the sewing machine, automotive, going from building a single, you talk about the Industrial Revolution and the assembly line, and then even robotics going into the assembly line, being evolutionary aspects of things, and people still maintain their jobs, but people need to upskill. And it's the same thing with AI. Is more the more you prepared you're going to be for the changes. Whether you're in an organization that's working with AI, whether it's just in your day-to-day life, knowing how you're searching information, how you're prompting that information. Some key things around that in AI is the prompt engineering aspect of things. How do you move them into that?
It's all about customization. Everyone will have their ability to see the world and be expressive in their own way. So customization is huge. And then the next is explainable AI. Right now, AI is a black box. How do you figure those things out? Do you really want to know how the sausages are made? But the explainable AI is important. And then ethics is also important because we talk about privacy, we talk about biases, where are we in regards to those areas as far as ethics are concerned. Now, let me get into customization just a little bit more.
Data hygiene is a very important aspect of all of this, making sure that we've got our public information segmented from our private information in our organization. And that's something that I think is still a challenge to a lot of organizations that have started building in cloud infrastructures and things like that, in maintaining that segmentation. And that's going to be to me, that's one of the important aspects in terms of understanding and upskilling yourself for AI, is understanding how the data is being used is a very important approach. What are your thoughts on that, Wade?
I think, Joanne, I think you're spot on right there. And it's it's always clean data, bad data in, bad data out. It's still the same. So and oh yeah, that was cool, but that didn't work. So we're gonna try again. So experimentation, speed to iteration, and then the willingness to reimagine everything. Reimagine your job. Reimagine, if I didn't have a spreadsheet, how would I figure this out? Do I go back to the abacus? So what are we doing? So just reimagining how things can take place. That's why I recommend metacognition, thinking about what you think about. That way it frees your mind up for the possibility, because that's what AI has done for us. It's given us an opportunity to rethink and redo things like we never have. Now, back to retooling, because really that's what our conversation is about today, is where do I start? I think about Udemy, I think about Coursera, I think about LinkedIn. Even I've taken an MIT class for AI. All it's all great. And there are a lot of courses that are just free, and we can share. I always keep a list of free courses for people who are interested in AI.